Hello everyone, this is the first lecture in DC to AC converters. They are also known as inverters. So in this particular unit you will learn about the half bridge inverter, full bridge inverter and three phase voltage source inverter. You will also learn about the current source inverters and also pulse width modulation techniques to operate these inverters. So basically DC to AC converters, they known as inverters. The function of inverter is to change a DC input voltage to a symmetric AC output voltage of desired magnitude and frequency. So in some case you will find that the DC is fixed and you will require a variable AC, that means a variable magnitude and variable frequency AC, like the application of voltage source inverter in induction motor drives where you require to achieve V by F control of the induction motor. There you will find that you are having a fixed DC and you require a variable AC. Okay, so variable AC we can achieve with the help of pulse width modulation techniques. So there you can change both magnitude of the fundamental component and also you can change the frequency. Okay, in some application you will find that you are getting a variable DC, like power from the photovoltaic system. There you will get a variable DC voltage, and if you require to inject the photovoltaic power into the grid, you will require to keep fixed AC. That means you have to change a variable DC into a fixed AC. That means that is accordance with the grid voltage and grid frequency, which is for single phase 230 volt and 50 hertz frequency. The output voltage waveform of ideal inverter should be sinusoidal, but you will find that in inverters actually you are getting a non-sinusoidal waveform. So that waveform you can decompose into fundamental component and frequency harmonic components. So fundamental component will be actually the desired part, and harmonics part we have to filter it out. So in most of the cases you will find that the low order harmonics actually they are the main more problematic because their magnitude is significantly high. Inverters are widely used in industrial applications like in variable speed AC motor drives, renewable energy, transportation, induction heating. There are a lot of application of inverters. The input may be battery, fuel cell, solar cell, or other DC sources. An inverter is called voltage fed inverter VFI or VSI, voltage source inverter, if the input voltage remains constant. A current fed inverter if the input current is maintained constant. Okay, and the variable DC linked inverter if the input voltage is controllable. Another new breed, that is LC resonant inverter. They are very efficient actually, so they are also used in many applications. Now there are certain performance parameters for the inverters which will tell about the uh, correctness or goodness of the inverter. Okay, if you are having, for example, you can achieve the output waveform in several ways, then their performance comparison will be carried out based on certain parameters. Okay, so you can see there we are having DC voltage, input DC voltage, and this is the DC current. So it is converting DC to AC. So this is the AC part, this side actually it is DC part, and this is the AC part. So you will find that in most of the cases, so this is a square waveform. You can see that we are having positive voltage and we are having negative voltage. So this is actually not a sinusoidal waveform, but we can decompose this waveform into fundamental component and harmonic component with the help of Fourier series. You will find that input current will be having waveform something like that. Okay, so output power we can give V naught I naught cos theta. So this is the fundamental component, their RMS values, then displacement between these two. So that will give the output AC power. You can also calculate If load is purely resistive, you can find what will be the output power with the help of this expression. Similarly, you can find the AC input power of the inverter, that is given by Vs into Is, average value of the input voltage and average value of the current. Okay. Similarly, RMS ripple content of the input current we can find with the help of these expressions. Now there are certain other parameters like harmonic factors of nth harmonic, that is given by nth harmonic component magnitude divided by the fundamental component magnitude. Okay, so if you divide by that, we can find what will be the harmonic factor. So where V01 is the RMS value of the fundamental component, and V0 is the RMS value of the nth, V0n is the RMS value of the nth harmonic. Okay. Similarly, we are having another factor. This is very important term, that is total harmonic distortion. In inverter, basically the output performance is compared with the help of the total harmonic distortion. So the total harmonic distortion, which is a measure of closeness in shape between a waveform and its fundamental component, and it is defined as 1 upon the RMS value of the fundamental component, then summation of all the harmonic component, and we have to take square and under root of that value. Okay, so n is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that will be a harmonic component. Okay, and this will be the desired component. So lower value of the THD will be desired. So if the THD value is less, then that means the output waveform is better. Similarly, we are having distortion factor. So THD gives the total harmonic content, but it does not indicate the level of each harmonic component. Okay, if a filter is used at the output of the inverters, the higher order harmonics would be attenuated more effectively. Therefore, a knowledge of both the frequency and magnitude of each harmonic is important. So basically, low order harmonics, their filtering is complex and it will require a larger size filter. Higher order harmonics, they are not that much of concern because their magnitude is smaller and they can be filtered with small rating filters. Okay, so this factor actually will tell about the component of each individual harmonics. Okay, THD actually gives the overall distortion factor, and distortion factor this will give the individual harmonics component magnitude. Similarly, we are having another factor that is called lowest order harmonics, is the frequency closest to the fundamental one. For example, in single phase inverter, you will find that closer to fundamental component is the third harmonic, because they are having the output waveform normally have the even symmetry. That means positive half will be equal to the negative half. So in that case, even harmonics will be absent. So next predominant harmonic will be that of third harmonic. So the lowest order harmonics is the more concerned because of its higher magnitude. Now this is the single phase half bridge inverter. So you can see that we are having two controllable switch. One is Q1, another is Q2. So these switches actually are unidirectional conduction switches. So they will carry the current only in this direction. Okay. So to make it both direction to conduct, we have to add one anti-parallel diode. So here it is connected D1, here it is D2. So in normal time, if the current flows like this, okay, so the transistor will carry the current. If the current is in opposite direction, so diode D1 will take that current. Okay, so we are having a single phase supply that is bifurcated in two halves with the help of these capacitors C1 and C2. So here we are having supply Vs by 2, here we are having supply Vs by 2, and here it is 0 point, and we are having one RL load. This is resistance, this is inductance. So from this point to this point we are having load. Okay, so actually in this what we do, we turn on this transistor. This device you can have transistor, you can have MOSFET, you can have IGBT, okay, any of controllable switch you can use here. So if this is turned on, okay, so in that case you can see that output voltage will be Vs by 2. Okay, if it is turned on, in that case the output voltage, you will find that positive is here and negative is here, so you will get Vs by 2. So voltage across this load will be Vs by 2. If we mark the polarity, say VO, if we mark this point plus, this point minus, so that voltage we will call Vs by 2. Okay, so voltage across this load will be Vs by 2 when Q1 is turned on. Okay, if the current is in the same direction, so Q1 will take the current. If the current is in reverse direction, so that current actually will be taken by this diode, because Q1 transistor will not take the current in the reverse direction. Okay, so in RL load normally you know that the current lags behind, okay, because of the inductive effect. So in that case you will find that for some time the Q1 will take the current, and sometimes the current will flow through this diode. So this is actually freewheeling diode. Okay, so you can see here that the output voltage, if we plot VAO voltage, so this is Vs by 2. Similarly, in the next half cycle, this Q1 is turned off and Q2 is turned on. Okay, so as Q2 is turned on, you can see here that now positive voltage will appear here, negative voltage will appear here, so polarity will get reversed. Okay, so the output voltage you will find that it is minus Vs by 2. So when Q1 is turned on, the voltage across the load is Vs by 2. When Q2 is turned on, the voltage across the load is minus Vs by 2. Okay, one more thing you should remember that these two switches should never be turned on simultaneously. Okay, if one switch is turned on, other must be turned off, otherwise there will be direct short circuit across the DC input. Okay, and it will damage the switch. So normally in these inverters we have to provide some dead band. Okay, first the conducting switch must be turned on, then after few microsecond delay, you have to turn on the next switching device. Okay, now if we are having RL load, so the current, if we are having purely resistive load, the current will also have the same waveform. Okay, and if you are having RL load, so the current is lagging the uh, voltage. Okay, so fundamental component is drawn here. So this is the fundamental component of the output current. Okay, so you can see that it is purely sinusoidal, but it is lagging, but it lags because of the RL load. Okay, if you want to plot I1 current for resistive load, so I1 current will be similar to that. Okay, so you can see that it is a constant current flowing through the transistor. Then next half cycle the current flows from this Q2. Okay, if you are having highly inductive load, so in that case the current will follow the path like this. Now we can calculate what will be the root mean square of the output voltage. So output voltage is Vs by 2, we have to square that, then we can integrate in half cycle, because in RMS actually the negative portion will come on the above side. So RMS output voltage we can find it is Vs by 2. Okay, so these are important relationship that you must remember. Now we can also find what will be the instantaneous output voltage, which is given by V naught is equal to A naught upon 2. So output voltage you can see here, it is square wave type waveform, it is not sinusoidal. So you can decompose this waveform into, so actually you can decompose this waveform into a fundamental component and harmonic component with the help of Fourier series analysis that you already learned in the mathematics classes. So any waveform, any non-sinusoidal waveform, you can decompose into fundamental component and harmonic parts. So this first part is the DC average. Okay, normally this part is 0 because the positive half, you can see the positive half is equal to negative half. So average, if you add up these two areas, you will get 0. Okay, so DC is 0, and you will have an cos n omega t, bn sin n omega t from n is equal to 1 to infinity. So a naught and an will be 0 because it is having quarter wave symmetry. Okay, quarter wave symmetry means if you take t by 4 here, t naught by 4 here, so left side of t naught by 4 and right side of t naught 4 is same. It is given the same value of the function, so that means uh, it is having the quarter wave symmetry. In that scenario, actually a naught will be 0. So we will have only bn component. Okay, so bn component we can find with the help of this expression. So from minus pi by 2 to 0, so if we take from minus pi by 2 to 0, okay, in that case the output voltage is minus vs by 2. So we have to substitute minus vs by 2 in that part, and from 0 to pi by 2, you can see it is vs by 2. Okay, so if we integrate these two parts, we are getting 2 vs upon n pi. Now v naught we can substitute bn value here. This a naught is 0, an is 0, so these two parts vanish. Now we are having n is equal to 1 to infinity bn sin n omega t. Bn value we can substitute this value, so this is 2 vs upon n pi times sin n omega t. Okay, so from n is equal to 135 to infinity, and 2 4 even harmonics actually will be 0. Okay, for 2 4 n is equal to 2 4 6, like that it is 0 because it is having even symmetry. Now we can find what will be the RMS value of the fundamental component. So if we substitute n is equal to 1 here in this expression, you will get the value of the fundamental voltage. Okay, so fundamental component peak value will be 2 vs upon pi. If you divide the peak value by root 2, you will get the RMS value. Okay, so fundamental component, you can see if you substitute n is equal to 1 in this expression, so 2 vs upon pi sin omega t. So sin omega t means it is fundamental component. If you substitute n is equal to 3, so 2 vs upon 3 pi sin 3 omega t. So that means the frequency becomes 3 times the fundamental component frequency. So that means that will be the third harmonic component. Okay, so any harmonic component voltage you can find from this expression. So for fundamental, you have to substitute n is equal to 1, so 2 vs upon pi sin omega t. That will be the fundamental component magnitude. Peak value will be 2 vs upon pi. If you divide by 2 root 2, you will get the RMS value of the fundamental component. So that means 2 vs upon root 2 pi, it is coming to be 0.45 vs. Okay, so this fundamental component is the desired component. Rest are the harmonic component that we require some how to filter it out. Similarly, for RL load, we can write the impedance value, that is R plus Jn omega L. Okay, so impedance for different harmonic component will be different. For example, if you want to find what will be the impedance for fundamental component, that will be R plus J omega L. For third harmonic component, the impedance will be R plus J3 omega L. For fifth harmonic, it will be Z is equal to R plus J5 omega L. Okay, and also you can find what will be the current. So voltage divided by impedance. So n is equal to 1 to 3 to 5 to infinity, that was the voltage. If you can see here, so it was 2 vs upon n pi sin n omega t, n is equal to 135 to infinity. So divide by Z. Okay, so Z, if you want to find the magnitude and phase angle, so magnitude will be square root R square plus n omega L square. Okay, and theta n will be tan inverse n omega L upon R. So theta n, you can see that it is coming in subtraction. Okay, so sin n omega t minus theta n. So here it is sin n omega t. Okay, and from impedance value you will get theta n, so that will actually come here because this current will be lagging. So you can see that here the current is lagging by theta n value, whereas voltage here you are not adding anything. Okay, so current is lagging by angle theta n. Now if you want to find what will be the fundamental component of the output current, so I01 you can find from this expression. Okay, if you substitute n is equal to 1, so you will get the fundamental component of the output current. So that will be 2 Vs upon pi under root r square plus omega l square sine omega t minus theta 1. Theta 1 you can find from here. Theta 1 will be tan inverse omega l upon r. Okay, substitute here, you will get the fundamental component magnitude component. Okay, if you want to find the RMS value of that, you have to divide by root 2 again. Okay, so fundamental, the useful power, that is P01 or fundamental power, output power, you can find from fundamental component of the voltage, fundamental component of the current, RMS value of these two, multiply by cos theta 1. Okay, or fundamental output current RMS square times resistance. If you substitute from here, so fundamental component magnitude you will find from here 2 Vs upon pi square root r square plus omega l square. Okay, divide by root 2, because this is the peak value. If you divide this value by root 2, you will get the fundamental current RMS value, square of that into r. Okay, you will get the fundamental power. These are very very important calculation that is very useful, and many a times you will find questions in the GATE exams and other competitive exams. Now this is a very simple problem. You can go through this problem based on the previous formulas. You substitute here and you will get these results. Okay, thank you.